to this video lecture. This is Mark Scythian, FAA licensed aerospace technician, airframe, power plant, and avionics certified. The date today is December 31st, 2017. In this video lecture, we're going to cover how to convert quadratic equations from standard form into vertex form the easy and fast, effective way. So we will use the same quadratic equation as we did previously in the how to factor quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. So of course we had calculated the x's are 6/5 and -4 respectively. So many times you're going to be asked to convert a quadratic equation from standard form into vertex form, especially for graphing purposes. And it's very easy to convert the quadratic equation from standard form to vertex form based on the difference of squares. But there is a distinct formulation and format in order to do so very easily and effectively. So we'll use the same quadratic formula or quadratic equation as last time. 5x squared plus 14x minus 24 is equal to 0. So there's the same one. 5x squared plus 14x minus 24 is equal to 0. So we confirm this is the same one. What you're going to want to do is, of course, this is written in standard form I meant, which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. The format you're going to want to memorize for vertex form is a times the parentheses of x plus d squared plus e is equal to 0. And we know that a, b, and c are equal to 5, 14, and -24 respectively. So we just enter those in, 5, 14, -24. But we also have to calculate what d and e are. And d have a specific formulation. D and e both have a specific formula. So you can use d is equal to b over 2a, and e is equal to c minus b squared over 4a. And this is often called the difference of squares. Convert the given quadratic equation into vertex form using the difference of squares. And this is like the easiest way to do it. And some of you might be saying, where's the h and the k? I mean, I have a different method. Where's the h and the k? Well, the h for the x coordinate location of the vertex is actually the d with the sign reversed. So whatever d is, if you take the opposite sign, that will be the h. And whatever e is, you can use as is for the k. So it's really easy, actually. It's not hard at all. You'll be zipping through your problems lightning quick if you use this method. So all we have to do is calculate what d and e are using this formulation. So we'll do that now. So I'll do that right here. So d is equal to b, 14, over 2 times a, or 2 times 5, so 10. That reduces down to 7/5. So we already got d. And then e is equal to, I'm going to go out here a little bit so we have space. E is equal to c, which is 14. I'm sorry, minus 24. Not 14, minus b squared. So 14 squared, let me see what that is. 14 squared is 196. So look right here. C is minus 24 minus b squared, which is 14 squared, 196, divided into 4 times a, or 4 times 5, so 20. So we can reduce this fraction here to lowest terms before we subtract the fractions. So 196 goes into 49 times, and 20 goes into 5 times. So we can rewrite this as e is equal to minus 24 minus 49/5. Then we just use the rules for subtracting fractions. We can just take minus 24 over 1, minus 49 over 5. Lowest common denominator, obviously 5. 5 divided by 1 is 5. 5 times -24 is, what do I got here? -120. And then 5 divided by 5 is 1 times 49, so 49. And remember, it's minus. So we're left with E is equal to minus 120 minus 49 over 5. And so minus 120 minus, what did we say? Minus 120 minus 49 minus 169. So minus 169 over 5. So that's E, minus 169 over 5. So we write that in, minus 169 over 5. And so we have all A, B, C, D, and E. So all we have to do is substitute substitute A, D, and E. And then we'll have this standard form quadratic equation converted into vertex form using the difference of squares by means of formulation. So that all that is A, so 5, X plus 7/5. Now, if this was minus, then we'd have to put minus here. So positive 7/5, close parentheses squared. And because this is a negative, you're adding a negative, so this becomes a negative. We can go negative 169 over 5 is equal to 0. And there you have it, lightning quick. We've converted the standard form quadratic equation into vertex form very quickly, first time, and correctly using these three formulations and formats right here. So memorize this format and these two formulas, and you'll always be able to quickly convert standard form quadratic equations into vertex form. So in another video, I'm going to actually graph this vertex form quadratic equation, but just as a little prelude, the HK, or the vertex point, would be the opposite sign of D. So 7/5 X coordinate, Y coordinate of the vertex is negative 169 over 5. The zeros, or where the parabola of this quadratic equation meets the x-axis, would be what we calculated previously using the quadratic formula to get the x's. So they would meet on the x-axis at minus 4 and 6/5. And then all that's left is the y-intercept, which all you have to do is take the standard form quadratic equation, and instead of equaling it to 0, equal it to y. And then you just enter in the zeros for the x's. And then so if you put a 0, if you entered a 0 for all the x's, the 5x squared would become 0, the 14x would become 0, so you're left with minus 24 is the y-intercept. So that's just to clarify some of the formatting. Like, a lot might say, where's the H and the K? That's not how it's written in our book, but this is actually an easier way to do it. But remember, D, you take the opposite sign of D for the H, and then use the E as is for the K. You know the X's from the quadratic formula, X points where the graph will intersect the X-axis. And then all you have to do is calculate the y-intercept by equaling the original standard form quadratic equation. Instead of equaling it to 0, equal it to y, and then enter in the 0 for all the x's, and it's negative 24. So there's the 3 points. And then lastly, I'm going to cover this in the graphing portion of, actually the next lecture. I'm going to actually graph this exact vertex quadratic equation. But just to clarify ahead of time, because some of you are going to say, I don't see the H and the K, it's a little confusing, but this is actually the easiest way to do it. But you all know that all quadratic equations their graph is going to be like a parabola, either facing upward or downward. So if the 5x, this is A, right? If this is a positive value, then the parabola will face upward. If it is a negative value, it will then face downward. So I'll cover that more in the next video lecture on how to graph quadratic equations set up in vertex form, but this is just a little prelude. And so take advantage of these three pieces of information. Memorize this vertex form quadratic equation format, and then also memorize the formulas for D and E, and you'll always be zipping through the conversion of quadratic equations from standard form into vertex form quickly, easily, and always correct the first time. So just kind of write these out many times until you by heart it. So thanks for watching this video and have a great day.